Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BOI Weekly. I am Terry Ikumi. In 2017, the Bank of Industry commenced granting of loans to micro, small and medium entrepreneurs with the aim of boosting the economy, creating wealth and jobs. Now, these loans were disbursed through 14 microfinance banks with branches nationwide. MSME entrepreneurs who are beneficiaries of these loans cut across different vocations, and these include fashion designers, furniture makers, shoemakers, bakers, among others. And through the disbursement of these loans, many entrepreneurs have taken their businesses to enviable heights as they continue to access funds from the Bank of Industry to grow their business. On this week's edition of the program, we'll take a break from our usual beneficiaries as we bring you details of the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Ondo State Government and the Bank of Industry. Welcome to the program. The Memorandum of Understanding between the Ondo State Government and the Bank of Industry is aimed at disbursement of the $2 million World Bank loan facility to micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, MSMEs in the state. As part of efforts to further drive the vision of promoting the growth of micro, small and medium enterprises, the Ondo State Government signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Bank of Industry for the disbursement of the $2 million World Bank loan facility to micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in the state. The facility, termed Nigeria Cares, is targeted at cushioning the harsh economic effects of the global COVID-19 pandemic. The World Bank is partnering with the federal and state governments in Nigeria for the facility. The Ondo State Government is deploying the expert services of the BOI, which has been partnering with the state on such ventures in the past. The Secretary to the Ondo State Government, Oladuni Odu, represents the State Governor in the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding.
After which the representative of the Executive Director of BOI will acknowledge and receive the handing over while the representative of the Executive Director will.
Hello. The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, agreement document of the program execution and managed form for Resort Area 3 of the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus NG Cares. The signing of the MOU is a necessary prerequisite for the effectiveness and enlistment into the CARES program for all 36 states of the Federation. As you are aware, the NG Cares program is an emergency program designed by the World Bank to support budgeted programs of expenditures and interventions at the state level. It is a tripartite program of the World Bank, federal and state governments of Nigeria that utilizes existing federal and state government platforms, targeting existing and newly emerging vulnerable and poor households, agricultural value chains, and micro and small enterprises affected by the economic crisis imposed by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Bank of Industry, BOI, is the state's chosen platform for disbursement to MSMEs. BOI, with its well-developed microcredit infrastructure through the instrumentality of the government enterprise and empowerment program, GIP in the state, presents a partnership that affords the state the added opportunity to provide sound technical expertise and financial access for old and the new micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises in the state, as well as utilizing the platform to fast-track the delivery of objectives of CARES, which, among other things, aims at facilitating the recovery and enhance the capabilities of MSMEs. I understand that CARES is a program for result with a fast disbursing credit facility, which is expected to be drawn down in 2 years.
I'm so grateful.
The representative of the Bank of Industry, Michael Oye, the General Manager, Southwest, assures the government of proper disbursement of the loan.
We are so grateful to the Ondo State government for considering Bank of Industry as the implementing agency for this NCARE program. The Bank of Industry and the Ondo State have been in partnership for quite a long time. At the point we have jointly set up a 1 billion fund, which was disbursed to over 700 beneficiaries, SMEs in the state, to ensure that we supported them to increase their economic activities, their productive activities in the state. So this is another opportunity for us to support the SMEs within the state to further strengthen all that they are doing, and to ensure that we build up their resilience to be able to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic effects. The Bank of Industry, we are ready to deploy all our resources that we have in-house to ensure the success of this program. Our infrastructures, which include our payment infrastructure, our monitoring infrastructures, our resources for monitoring and evaluation, and our enumeration and verification facilities. All of these will be deployed to ensure the success of this program.
Away from the signing ceremony, the representative of the Ondo State government and the special advisor to the state governor on public and intergovernmental relations share their thoughts on the Memorandum of Understanding.
It's to market our relationship with the state government in the implementation of the NCARE program, which we have been selected as the implementing agency for this program. We'll be executing, I'll be managing the fund in this aspect for the state. So this event marking the signing of the MOU, signing of the agreement that will lead to the implementation of the program. The program is being implemented, it is a program of the World Bank with the forming of federal government and then down to the state government. So among the various activities and the criteria for selecting beneficiary are clearly stated, and that's why a company like an institution like Bank of Industry was selected, who they also believe that we follow the laid down rules in implementing this. So there are established guidelines for implementing this and for selecting beneficiary, which of course as a Bank of Industry, as a reputable organization, we will ensure that we adhere to that strictly.
As long as we have this money, we are talking of almost $20 million US. What are we looking? BOI, we are using their platform because the platform is what we used before when we were doing the Jeep, when we were doing the money market. This same platform is, and when we were having the small and medium scale business enterprise, when money was being given out to them. So going back on this platform is going to give us a leverage to make sure that everything is done smoothly, everything is done with transparency, and anybody can go in there to see the record. It's not going to be for a particular sector of people, it's going to be for the general public. Everybody, as long as you are an individual of Ondo State, you reside in Ondo State, you have been affected by this COVID, you are poor and the vulnerable. We have our social register, we have so many things we could mine in from. Everybody, and ripple effect, what are we talking? On the ripple effect, the moment there is money in circulation, the farmers, the traders, even those hawking, everyone would enjoy.
In our next report, we continue our focus on direct beneficiaries of the Bank of Industry interventions, and one of them is Electronic Pay Plus Limited, a smart card and payment solution provider that is growing in leaps and bounds through the ever-increasing support of the Bank of Industry. Take a listen. Our next report showcases Electronic Pay Plus Limited, a smart card and payment solution provider which is growing in leaps and bounds through the support of the Bank of Industry. Electronic Pay Plus Limited is a customer-focused smart card and payment solution service provider incorporated in 2004 but started operations in 2005 with POS terminal deployment. However, due to reasons ranging from overhead costs submerging profit to less acceptance of the technology, the line of business was changed to smart card production and personalization in 2009. However, to make that switch, a meeting with the Bank of Industry was inevitable after relationships with commercial banks whose interest rates became a clog in the company's wheel of progress.
I actually founded the company 16 years ago with a couple of my friends, and we've been together for that 16 years. We've grown from step to step, and we are still hoping to grow further than where we are today. We have ambitions to produce so many other things apart from smart card. Okay, the smart card that we do today, we can actually do, like I said, banking card, identity card. For your information, we produce the Nigerian smart identity card, and we supplied those to Nigeria 6 years ago. So we can do identity card, we can do residency card, we can do loyalty card, gift card, and all of that. With voters card, we can also do all of that, so the idea is to go into so many other areas which I might not want to mention here. Okay, there are so many security printing that Nigeria government still do outside Nigeria today. Okay, driver's license, and all of that, and that is, we're already working on some of them because we believe that Nigerian government should not be spending money to go abroad to print some things when we're here. Okay, so we just need to let them realize that we can actually provide our services locally.
Mr. Adeokun says Electronic Pay Plus has since then relied on the Bank of Industry at every point where an expansion is needed by the company.
There is quality control in line as we go ahead, and for you to be able to get the card quality management certification, you have to have a laboratory, a quality laboratory. There are so many equipment that you need to procure because every aspect of the card needs to be tested. Okay, so part of our process is in line. You take sample size. Okay, depending on the batch that you are producing for each process, you take a sample size and you take them to the laboratory to test, depending on, like I said, what you want to test for. i.e., for instance, when you finish milling and embedding, you take the card from a batch of maybe 200, you take 5 full sample size to go and do what is called bending and twisting test in the lab. What that does is you stress test the card to ensure that it can withstand stress. Okay, the chip will not fall off when customer is trying to use. So you load it into the machine, you bend, you twist, you do all kinds of stress that the daily life card might go through. If you put a card in your wallet, you slip. Okay, so you do that. You also do compression test. Like I said, everything that you do has an ISO standard. So the milling, the hole that is being drilled on that, there is a dimension based on ISO standard that has been set on the machine. You want to make sure that the calibration of your machine is correct and you're actually meeting those standards. So you go and do that compression test. Again, you take samples. We assume that if out of the batch size of 200, 5 are correctly done, you can then assume, because we will not be able to do. Okay, we have a capacity of 60 million cards per annum. Okay, so you cannot test 60 million cards. Okay, so you just take sample. Okay, you do a whole lot of other kind of tests. You want to mention the dimensions as well. Okay, the opacity test. So we have various equipment that mention the width, the breadth, and all of that and the thickness. Don't forget, like I said, there are 4 layers for a contact card. For a contactless, there are 5 layers because that also have to have an antenna in between it. Okay, so those must amount to a certain dimension at the end of your production process. After putting them together, laminating them, it must meet a certain micron, as what we call it, thickness, okay, based on the standard. So if you use wrong material, you might end up getting a wrong output. So that is why you have to test as well. And we have different material actually for contact and contactless. So again, your warehousing must be properly done to ensure that when you are manufacturing a contact card, you don't supply contactless card material for that, because at the end of the day, you will miss it. And that's why quality assurance comes in. That has to be assured before you start live production and all of that. Okay, so we have the quality laboratory set up to do all of that.
While praising the improvement of the processes of obtaining a credit facility at the Bank of Industry, Mr. Adeokun says the rumored man-no-man factor isn't the norm in BOI. Rather, a bankable and feasible business plan which has made Electronic Pay Plus a regular customer that has accessed almost ₦1 billion from the Bank of Industry. After obtaining global certifications from MasterCard, Verve, American Express, and the UCAS management systems due to the high security architecture put in place through the help of funds from the Bank of Industry, Mr. Adeokun mentions what intending borrowers from the Bank of Industry must do to be offered a helping hand to move their businesses from where it is to gain the attention of global players.
That is when you are going to have to attach the chip, or what we call module. Okay, that's where you store the information. That's what makes the plastic smart, because that's where all the information is stored. Okay, so you take, after milling and after or stamping, you take it to milling and embedding. The machine drill or mill the card. It drill a hole based on the ISO standard. Everything that we do has a standard that must be met. ISO standard tells you the length, breadth, and width of the chip. So the parameters are already stored in the machine. The machine picks the card from the input upper, drill that, and then there is a vacuum cleaner that cleans what has been drilled away, because again, it's precision. Particles must not be there. It drills it off, okay, and then it picks the module and place it in that hole, and then laminate that to ensure that it does not fall off and it stays there. Okay, so after laminating, that is when you have completed the making of a particular card. Okay, in each of this process, there is quality control. Everything is being checked. Each of the machine has a quality control equipment attached to it that is checking as you go along. We also have processes that check. That's why I said earlier that we obtain our CQM, card quality management. That is also a standard for each process, what you must look out for, what you must check as you go. So you have inline, apart from quality assurance, which is what you do before you start live production, there is inline quality control as well in each of the processes as you go. Okay, so that is when you then complete the production of a particular card. Okay, that is smart card manufacturing. Then you then now do the second leg of the work, which is card personalization, if the customer contracts you to also do that for them.
After breaking words with a multiple award-winning entrepreneur, he gives us a tour of the facility and how they operate and manufacture one of the key components of today's cashless policy, the ATM cards. And this was our first.
So he's doing what is called compression test here. He's going to check what like I said before, quality control process. You take sample size depending on which aspect of the production line you are. So he wants to check the compression of the whole drill on the milling and embedding machine and see whether the module or the chip was properly embedded. There is a parameter that has been set on the milling and embedding machine as regards the depth of the hole that the machine must drill to put the chip in. So that's what it's trying to confirm here, if it was done very well. Okay, so it will drill, go ahead and drill and compress. Again, the standard, that same parameter on the machine has been set here. It's just to confirm whether it was done very well or not.
Second,
here, bending and twisting. That's what you do here. okay, when the chip has been embedded, you want to put it through a stress test to be sure that whether it was properly laminated. If you put it under stress, will it fall off? So you don't want the card holder to put their card into an ATM and then the chip fall off. Okay, so that is what you need to confirm here. So like I said, you do bending and twisting. You load the card here and you bend, you put it through all kind of stress to ensure that the chip will not come off from the card. That's what is done here. Again, you take samples depending on the production size.
And third,
there is a dimension for the chip based on ISO standard. Again, that has been loaded onto the milling and embedding machine. That's what is drilled there. They call it the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so it also has been loaded here, and so you bring sample of the card here. It is a projector, so it magnifies the card actually, so that it can be able to measure those dimensions and be sure that yes, the machine calibration is proper and is working very well. So it measures the y-axis and the x-axis. As it's operating, you'll be able to see the magnified version of a card here.
Electronic Pay Plus Limited is known in the fintech industry for its world-class service delivery and has been doing business in both the financial and non-financial sectors of the Nigerian economy, as well as in regions beyond Nigeria. Now, the Bank of Industry over the years has continued to provide interventions for industries to thrive, and there is absolutely more where that came from. The interventions, which focus on men, women, youths, and physically challenged persons, will hopefully make meaningful contribution to the nation's socio-economic development. So, are you an entrepreneur out there, or you know anyone in need of support to grow their business? Kindly visit any of the bank's branches closest to you or log on to their website at boi.ng. You can also follow the bank on all social media platforms as displayed on your screen. And that's it for this week's edition of BOI Weekly. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.